Okay, dokie. Let's get this stuff working. If I can find where my chat program went to. There we go. I have no music going right now because I intend on playing the new Red Roger soundtrack once it finishes uploading. So that will be my plan for music. That hopefully will be super duper not copyright evil protection thingy. Let's see. So all the chats should be on. Steam is done updating because that was being mean. Looks like everything's going good on Restream, so we're good there. I've got music adding, so we're good there. Okie dokie. So I'm working on breaking the map, right? Let's see. What was I working on? Let me make sure my... Man, I just got here, so I have not done anything. Why do I have 12 notifications? Oh, great. Well, this is all the fun daily stuff for the day. Let's see. So I have... Okay, so my stuff posted today like it was supposed to. So I'm not behind on anything. Okay, so I think I'm good. So why the hell? Someone must have Twitter bombed me. Let's see. Oh, FF. Friend forward, friend follow, follow something or other. Someone picked me for the Twitter of the week. More than one person did. Okay, so apparently I'm getting followed by more people now. Lordy. And Ryan did, and oh my gosh. Okay, so apparently that's what happened today. I am I making it right now or just in general? Because right now I'm trying to figure out why I have the chat on the wrong screen, because that was awesome. But in general, yes, I'm making videos today. I'm not recording. I record off stream is what I'm planning on doing, and just doing the examples live and answering questions and trying to help people and blah blah blah. Because right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 videos to record tomorrow, Sunday. Today is Friday, Sunday. Right now I'm working on getting this evil saving thing working. This giant monstrosity of a test that I decided to do. Look at all those coins. Let's see. Well, let's run through everything, make sure everything's running properly. Let's clean up something I don't need anymore. I don't need this. I need to work on multi-threading my saving today, because not multi-threading, but I guess making it more friendly for larger amounts. Let me nuke my test save right here. Let me disconnect my debug text right here. Let's clean this up right here. Look at what is that? Yeah, okay. And my debug object, which goes right here. Boop. Hello, Andre. It is going good. I am working on cleaning up a save project that I keep breaking. That, as you can see, is a giant monstrosity of a mess right now. Oh my god, look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. That is spaghetti. You could eat all that. And look at that, you could eat all that too. Oh, I need to clean up some code today. But first thing I need to work on is getting this thing from exploding when I have 1,000 savable objects, like in this case. Because, okay, so let's go back to our project settings. Let's go back to our general settings. Oops, crap, what's the default? No, I don't know. 100, I think 100,000 iterations is our default, and this should cause an infinite loop error when I save, is my issue. Or is it when I load? Is it when I load? There we go. So it's an infinite loop error when I load. So I need to split that up so it goes over different frames. So that way this example can be used in really stupid reasons if you happen to have 1,000 objects. No problem. You're welcome for the tutorials. I love doing them. If you have any questions or you have any requests, Ryan, I will not be recreating Doom for your pleasure because Doom is a work of friggin' art and it could not possibly be recreated by any human. Okay, so I have never done this before. I know what I do in theory, but I've never done it in practice. So the issue is when I am loading our save object manager and we have an existing set of variables, because I can't use maps and blueprints, I need to basically loop. And then I loopity-loop more than once. I have to loop through the objects inside of my scene, and then I have to loop through my saved object array in order to find and match up the object on the reload. Problem is that it's exceeding 100,000 loops and it's causing infinite loop detection protection. So, here's the question. How do we efficiently split up our loops and spread it over frames without completely impacting? My first thought is to break it up based on the number of actors in the scene. So each actor can take one tick. Now the problem is if I have 1,000 actors in this case, we're talking about 1,000 ticks, and that's technically artificially causing our delay. So what do we got? 1,000. Let's assume 60 frames per second. Okay, let's do. I guess it's the other way. Divided by 60. No, there we go. So you're talking 16 seconds to load this map just because I do something silly like that. So that's not going to be efficient at all. Now, is it my inner loop or my outer loop? Yeah, see, this is... Oh, I'm trying to do this in a safe and efficient manner. But basically, this loop right here is running 1,000 and I want to say 26 times. Is that how many? Oops. I was trying to load. But I want to say this one right here is looping 1,000 times roughly. I have 1,000 objects it needs to check. During each check, it's going to loop through the saved object array and compare, and it's going to have to do that up to 1,000 times per item. So you have 1,000 loops checking 1,000 times, which, where'd my calculator go, is 1,000,000 loops potential. So I have 1,000,000 potential loops with 100,000 for my breakout. Now I bumped it up to 500,000. It worked fine. The problem is that's a lot of freaking loops, and we need a way to track the number of loops and stop things. So what I'm thinking is stop it here after a certain amount of total loops have happened here. So basically every time I loop, increment a counter. If the counter gets to 50,000 or so, then flag. The next time it goes through, because it couldn't be more than 1,000, for example, tell this to wait 1 frame. Go ahead, and the next time it starts up, it'll restart up at a different set of a different index. So we're going to have to change our loops into 4 loops instead of 4 each loops, so we can have an array index that we can feed into it. And I should only have to change this part here, and then change the code that feeds into it the next time it comes in. So we're going to basically have to break this code up into a function that I can call on demand and feed in an iterator. That iterator will basically be where it restarts. So that's the idea. Did I ever think about doing a cell shading tutorial? No, I have not, because art is my nemesis. And it's fine it's not related to the stream. I'm hoping it's not related to the stream. I would love to have questions pop up, because at the worst I can add them to my list and work on later. Right now I'm working on this because this is what I'm working on. Doesn't mean I can't do anything else. But unfortunately, art is something I am very bad at, and unless I understand the mathematics and mechanicalness behind it to explain it, I'm not going to be able to really do it. And cell shading is one of those things that requires math, because basically you're faking lights from certain things and like that. And I'm horrible at math as well. So I would love to do it, but I can't. I know there are other people out there who are doing art, more art-related stuff. JV the Wanderer. He is a much better artist, and he does streaming. You might want to consider checking his channel out or sending him a question, and he may be able to do something for you regarding cell shading. He does 3D modeling and things like that. He is fantastic at it. So this is going to be a for loop, and we're going to have a break, because we're going to have to be able to break out. Yep, because we're going to have to be able to break out when we need to and basically go to the next frame. So we're still going to... Do we want to repeat our get all actors, or do we want to cache that? We probably want to cache this so we don't have to do this more than once. So we're going to promote this to a variable. Unplug this. This is going to be our cached get all savable objects. And it's an extremely long name, but it's verbose. Okay, so this should cause us to everything work. And we're going to feed that into here, because this is the array. We will be, nope, not a for each loop, you stupid thing. For loop. For loop. With break, not for each. I can't use a for each because I have to pull in an iterator. I told you that already. Okay. You didn't miss anything. I had someone asking a question about doing cell shading, and I forwarded them to JV. Other than that, I'm splitting this massive evil thing into its own function and making it where I can call it over separate frames rather than one giant 1 million frame 1 million iteration thing in one frame. And awesome, Brian. I appreciate the soundtrack thing once you get to it. And thank you for mentioning the word soundtrack, because I just added, if I can figure out where I put it, on regards to that Breaking Benjamin song, thankfully I was able to pull it off the video and it unmuted it, so no harm done. But the Red Rogers soundtrack just came out, so I'm going to play that for our music today. Assuming I have this set up properly. Let's go back. I do not. Let's go to our headset. There we go. So now we should have music. There we go. And it is a video game soundtrack for an Unreal Engine 4 game, so hopefully it is not copyright protected. It won't throw any flags. And see how that goes. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have to go through here, and this is going to be the info we're going to pull out to work on. Our iterator, so we're going to have a, what's this going to be? This is going to be a load save states, load savable objects state iterator. Okay, so this is the iterator we're going to use as our current index, and our last index will always be the length of this, which will actually be the last index, right? Yeah, we'll go with last index. Someone was nice enough to add that for us. There we go. So by default, this is going to work identical to here for now. Let me, let's see, we didn't mean to do that. Because I want to make sure this code is still here so I can work on it, just in case I break stuff. So let's add a reroute node here that goes into here. So we can start right there. And we'll do, because what we're going to do is, it's going to cache it no matter what. Oops. So we're going to want to do that no matter what. And then we're either going to go here. Oh, that's cool. That's not going to work. There we go. So we're going to go to one of these two choices here. That's what we're going to work on. Okay, so this code, in theory, if we execute, we don't do a break, we have an index that I feed into my getter here. And we'll feed the index in. This should give us this item, which we can feed into there, right? Yeah. So if we were to duplicate our code, look at that, for testing purposes, and did this, whoops, that was not what I meant to do. Yeah, that was it, right? Yeah, and we put this in as our target. We have this in as our finish. These are completed. Which I already have, I just didn't see it. It's right here. This should, in theory, be a duplicate of this one, except I can control the iterator. So this should crash, if I did it right. Okay, we need to put in, what are we doing here? This is our, okay, we have a couple things we need to plug our object into, which is going to be our getter, which will be this right here with an index. Yeah, it's going to be ugly for now. Let's see. So there's that one index. Okay, I see your question, Anton. Let me finish working this out in my head. I should have an object over here that needs, yeah. So anything I need an object on is gonna need this. Keep in mind, all I'm doing now is just making this work. This is meant to look ugly right now. We're duplicating functionality and then we'll fix the code. So I have 3 things that pull off of there, where in here I have 4 things. I have the 2 at the bottom, which I already have in here. I have an object in there, and then I'm writing did interact with needs an object to work with. Okay, right here. So boom. Let's compile and save. Okay, our code should be duplicated now. Anton, I have a question. There's a lot you can do with blueprints, but do you have any examples when you need C++ and can't use blueprints? I have a really good example. Technically can't really show you much, but the input management system, the project settings, input, these things right here, your action mappings and your axis mappings, which end up being driven into your character, assuming I have a character here somewhere, in here, which is your things like your input axes, turn rates and such. Those cannot be changed inside of blueprints right now. So for example, if someone wanted to rebind a key by simply changing the input axis, so my input axis turn is bound to X right now on the mouse. If they wanted to make it Y on the mouse or left and right arrow key, I would have to use C++ in order to rebind that axis to a different set of keys. You cannot do that in blueprints. Now you could do it in C++, expose the code to blueprints, and then you now have blueprint nodes that can do it. But as it is right now, pure blueprints cannot change the existing input system. So that is one. Another one would be you have this node right here, math expression, which is like 1 plus 2 minus x. It's a really nice node where you can create a math expression for whatever reason. Behind it is just simply the code in Blueprint. Math-heavy code. Where did that go? Huh. I literally have no idea where that was at. I don't know where I put that. I don't know where it went to. Oh, I closed my event graph. Okay, let's open that back up. There we go. Math-heavy code is a performance issue inside of pure blueprints. Doing a couple things: addition, subtraction, incrementation, searching for things, changing your transformer to isn't really going to be an issue. Doing what I'm doing in here, where I am looping through multiple arrays 1,000,000 times possibly. If this code was in C++, it would be faster. So this is a good example. If this was in C++, I could use the T-map or the T-set. I'd use the T-map, which is like a dictionary. And I wouldn't have to loop through multiple arrays. I would have a map that had an ID that would identify each item, and then that ID would also hold as its other value the actual item information. Instead, I have to hold all of that separately inside of its own array, and then I have to open the array and search through every item rather than just looking through an index. So those are two good examples that should be done in C++, and that's one thing I've actually realized when I'm doing this example. I'm making it as bad as possible to show you it's doable in blueprints. However, this is something you should do in C++ for performance and efficiency reasons. So hopefully that answers the question. Basic stuff, the majority of stuff, and a ton of stuff can be done in blueprints. C++ is when you want things that are crucial, math related, or a lot of iteration over things like I'm searching through arrays. And then of course the input stuff is you have to use, unfortunately, C++. You don't have to learn C++. That's what I'm kind of doing this example here for. It works. It works not as well as C++, and it could be better in C++. However, it works. And if it works well enough, then that's probably good enough for the game. And that's especially good enough for prototyping. Learning C++ would be a good thing if you just dabble in it and learn the basics. Learning it outside of Unreal Engine might be a little bit easier, because Unreal Engine takes shortcuts for a lot of things. It uses macros and properties and things like that. Do not feel you have to learn C++ though. Feel free to get a handle on Unreal Engine using blueprints and all the other systems and get comfortable with it. And then if you run into an issue where you need to learn C++, then you might want to dabble in it. For example, I have a settings menu that's going to be one of the concepts, and everything I can handle inside of blueprints. However, there's one function I'd like to add, which is getting the vendor ID, like for example, if you have a GTX 970 or the driver version, getting that information and putting it in the screen so the player knows. That's something that requires C++. It's not exposed to blueprints, but that would be something great to learn on. A very small project where you just get a little bit of code and you get your information, and then you make a blueprint where all I need to do now is call that blueprint and it uses the code I just created. So that would be a good way of getting into it when you need to. Question: if I have a class A parent, from this class I created 10 class children, how can I add them automatically in an array without using the spawn actor? So you have, don't worry about your bad English. Everyone's got issues. And thank you for visiting, Andre. I appreciate it. Feel free to wander back anytime you want. Okay, so and I'm looking up, I'm trying to get some more information on the parent-child, but I had a stupid example in here. Of course, I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Bad pickup and good pickup. Okay. So, in my example, I have a generic pickup, which is right here, which is right in here somewhere. Where did I put it? Oh, here we go. Generic pickup. This is my parent. I have 2 children I created from the parent. Bad pickup and good pickup. So you're basically saying you have a parent and then 10 children. Now, how do you add them automatically in an array? Well, they're all going to be different classes. You know, that's a good question. I'm curious about that. I don't remember if... Because you could do a get all actors with a class and have it add an array. But I'm curious if... Well, here. Anyways. Let's open up our... I need the playground for this one. I don't like messing up that one. Yeah, let me open my playground. This is where I like to break stuff, because then it doesn't matter. Now, if you can answer this one, is your question, you have 10 items that are all the same class? They're all, like for example, you have enemy as the parent, and then you have, enemy as the parent, and then you have like blue enemy as a child, and then you have 10 blue enemies? Or do you have enemy as a parent, and then you have blue enemy, red enemy, green enemy, orange enemy, and you want to figure out how to get all the different enemies, even though they're different classes? Get children. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Let's make a blueprint of this one. Parent. Parent. And we'll create a child called parent child. Okay, another child. And we'll create another child. So now we have 3 children in here. And there we go. Let's say 1, 2, and 3. And then open level blueprint. Okay. Get all actors of class. Now if we get all actors of class parent, will it get the children? That's not something I've ever... Okay, blue, orange, gotcha. So you have 10, like I just did, enemies, multiple enemies. Let's see, print. String. Whoops, I have multiplayer set up. Let me step back to single. Okay, that does work, like I thought it would. Okay, so... right now in my scene, I have a parent, and then I have 3 children. And let me pause this right here. If I do a get all actors of class and I tell it to get the parent class, it looks like it is getting all 3 of the children, even though each child is different. I have a child 1, child 2, and child 3. So in your case, if you had, you know, if you had orange, red, and green, they're all children of the parent. If you look where it says parent class, it's parent, parent, and parent. And when I run my code and I look for the parent, it's going to find the red, green, and the blue one. So it's going to find all the children if you do a get all actors of class and you fill in the where'd that go? And you tell it to look for the parent class or the upper class. Like for example, if I did, now we have a parent and I made a green, and then we did a green child 1 and 2, and then we'll drop in a green child 1 and a green child 2. We'll hit play. We should get all 5 because they're all inheriting from parent. But if I was to look for green, we should only get 3. Yep, we only get the green and its children because they are parents in their hierarchy of green. So basically, your children count as their parent for a get all actors of class node. So that's what you would do. So do an actor class for your class A, your parent. So you would want your, you know, get all actors of your what you said, class A. And that should get you all of the children of class A. And hopefully that answers that. If not, let me know. I will see what I can do. I will try to find what I did with what I was working on. Nope, that's that one. Okay. So, we were working on breaking this. Oops. We're working on opening the correct menu. Oh, let's see. What are we looking at? Persistent variables, right? There we go. Open up the first map. Don't save. Go ahead and run. And get an error. What did I do wrong here? Damn it. Okay, infinite loop detected. That's what we were expecting. Right? Okay, good. Okay, never mind. So everything was fine. Yeah. So it looks like our code that we transferred over is working the same as our old code, which is what we expected. So let me move this over here. Comment old code. That way we still have that. So what we need to do is break this down into a function that we can then break out of if needed. Okay, and this, okay, so we're gonna run into two issues. This, we only want to call when we're at the last index. So let's just do an if here so we don't break this right now, because I already know this is gonna be an issue. So if the last index is equal to the index we just checked. Oops, that's a minus, not equal. This means we've actually finished. We ran through our entire thing, and now we want to go ahead and save it out. So this is our code that should be good and safe now. Oh, no problem. I hope that helped you. Okay. So let's collapse this into a function. And oh gosh, this is gonna be fun because of all the inputs. Let's collapse this into a no, it's a for loop break. I don't want to run that in the function. I want this stuff to run outside the function. I want this stuff to run inside the function. Oh, this is gonna be hell. Okay. So let's collapse this all down to a function. Ooh, which failed. Why did we fail? Too many input connections. Okay. Technically we only have one input, right? What happens if we do all of this? Of course, that went into a function. Okay, this one's going to be our, what was this? Load savable objects into array. Okay, so that's what this is going to do. The goal of this one is to load our savable objects, which is inside of our save game, into the this game array with matching objects. That's what this does right here. And so we don't need to worry about the break being hooked up here. Okay, so I know I'm saying so a lot, but that's what happens. We're just going to want to call this one until it finishes. Which means we'll call it with a delay of a frame, and we'll just keep calling itself until it finishes. Okay, so, gosh darn it, I gotta stop saying so. What we're gonna want to do is pull this code down. This is a finished state. We never want to call it again. This is a fail state. We're gonna set a timer by function name. The function name is gonna be ourself. And we are going to set a time of 0, which means we should go ahead and call ourselves the next frame, which is what we're going to want. Good. Now the iterator is going to be the state iterator. This iterator we need to make sure is kept proper and up to date. This iterator should be equal to this index plus 1, because that should be the last one we've gone through whenever we get to this state. So we want to set this one. We can increment it, right? Increment. There we go. So what this should do is, if we get to the point where we have stopped because we've broken or finished, and we get to the point where our indexes do not match, therefore we have not finished, we're going to increment our iterator, and then we are going to call ourselves again next frame. Next frame will come in. We are going to start off with our new iterator, and we're going to end with our last index again, and we're going to repeat. So what matters is the ability to call the break. Yep, that's what's going to matter. Which, since this is not a separate set of functions, we can't do a custom event here, right? Can't even do a macro, can we? Can you do a macro inside? But the macro is kind of be pointless, right? Unless the macro has execute wires, which technically a macro can have execute wires. Well, let's see, shall we? I've never actually done this before. But that's what we learn, right? Technically all I want to do is pass something between here, and this would be break loop. I have no idea if this is going to work. No, because see, you can't call it and then it can't come back. Crud. So I'm going to have to reroute that, which is what I was hoping not to do. Hello, James. Okay, so we're in a function, so let's go ahead and make some local variables to clean this stuff up. So this is going to be our local current index. Hopefully we can get rid of all this giant friggin' mess. So we just got to figure out where it's all at. So it's here. It's here. What else do we have that at? It looks like here. And looks like that's a reroute node. Okay, so we have one spot left right here. Oh. Hello, afternoon, James. Wait, that's funny, but there's two Jameses now. So afternoon, James S on YouTube. Okay, so this is going to get our savable variables that we're going to loop through on our current target. This is going to clear out our array because we want to make sure it's clean for when we're working. Okay, so there's still some stuff I need to clean up here. Yeah, that's still a mess. This is still a mess down here. But let's get a little more organized here, so I can at least see what I'm doing. Okay. Okay, that's at least a little more organized. Okay, so this giant mess has to be cleaned up. We're going to need to keep a count. So this is going to be our current loop count. We'll call it current loop counter, that makes it easy. And every single time we do a loop, every single time we hit our loop body inside of here, so it's going to be right here. So even if it doesn't match, we still would need to increment a loop counter. We are going to increment this. I'm going to double check, make sure this works before I do anything. So every time we hit an internal loop, no matter how many times we do it, we're going to increment our counter. So what we need to do is we need to call a break on our main loop when we are incremented, our one hits a higher amount. And it may be before this one gets finished. So we need to somehow call back and break out of our original loop. And this one's only going to get completed when we're adding in things right here. This is if we're looking for a match. So I need to think this through. Let's see. This one's going to be existing item 1. We loop through. Existing item 1 we compare against our saved item up to 1,000 times. If it finishes, it breaks and it completes. Then we loop through the next one. Then it goes back to that one and loops through that one. We come back here. So whenever we do completed is when we want to check, because that completed will end up going back to here. Okay. So on both of these, we'll do an if check. Move this over here for now. We'll do if our current loop counter is greater than 50,000, just to start with. If we've looped more than 50,000 times, we're going to want to break. That's going to be called after there. It's going to be called after here. It should go back to here, and that should break out. It should end up calling a complete on here. Okay, well, let's see how much breaks. Oh, that did not work. So we still have a infinite loop on increment int right here. There's no reason that should be called more than 100,000 times, right? Well, that's just freaking weird. Unless we don't want to call an increment. Let's go back into our save manager. No. Really, do you think that, let's not do that then. Let's do a setter. Still gonna need to get that. Let's see, current loop counter. And yeah, you know what? The current loop counter doesn't even need to be an external variable. It should be an internal. Okay, so let's see. Add an int. Add 1. Okay. Oh, ha 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 ha. I'm a numbnut. So the next time we come through here, when we're clearing out our... Ooh, no. See, this is going to be an issue because we don't want to clear out our temporary struct array. Where's our temporary struct array? Right here. Where are we using that out? Christ. Seriously? Give me this one. Where are we using it at? Okay, that's the old code. What were we using the friggin' temporary struct array for? What in the hell? I literally only use this in one spot, and apparently... Okay, so apparently I put code in here for something that doesn't exist anymore. That's lovely. So let's just unhook that. I went through like 9 different iterations on this thing, getting it working properly. Well, I don't need a comment, but that'll work. Okay. So, this is still, this level savable is equal to... oh. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. Okay, the problem is this... Oh, temp, this level savable. Okay, that's right. Okay. So my temp struct array was something I wasn't using is what it was. Okay, and then this one redoes the temp into this. Okay, yeah, so all the code's good. Okay, that's right. So that's something I'm not going to need. The issue is I'm going to have to restart here. See, look at this. Look at this spaghetti. I got lost. Oh, I need to reset this. This is what I was doing here, and I got lost. This one, counter, current loop counter, should be set back to 0 when we get here. Get distracted by those hidden blue ones. Okay. Let's try that. Okay, well, still get an error. Where are we? Set current loop counter. So why is this one... This one is looping again with an infinite loop. But why is this one getting an infinite loop when I should be resetting itself? Unless I set the number too low? Was our default supposed to be more than 100,000? Let's go back to 500 and see if that breaks. Where's our item? There we go. Nope, 500 fails. On this one. Maybe it was 5 million and I didn't count the numbers. Oh well, let's see what happens. Okay, so I have a serious issue here still. Besides having everything open multiple times. Let's just set this to 0.1 and let's set this to 500,000 this time. Let's see what happens. Like I said, I have never done something where it delays. I have a feeling I'm doing it incorrectly. Because unfortunately I'm trying to do it on something that is not simple. Okay, let's see if this ever gets called. That would be smart. Yeah, let's see if this ever gets called right here. This would be broke out of main loop. Then we need to get rid of our debug, which is spamming. Which means I need to find where I put that at. Now, I'm smart enough to make code for debugging. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where was I at? There we go. Right here, I was smart enough to do that. However, I hooked up something else somewhere and I forgot where I hooked it up. Okay, so that is printing out the GUIDs is what it's doing. Oh, there's a way to... Is it? Okay, let's see. That's part of the debug. That's part of the debug. Debug. Here we go. Oh, that's a broke out of main loop. Okay, so where the hell am I? Am I doing it in the game? Save game object. I bet you that's where it was. No, I was not doing it in here. Where the son of a gun? Okay. This is not going to work. It's too big in there. Shoot. That prints the name. That prints the length. That prints done. That prints done. That prints the item. So I'm printing out the GUID somewhere. Okay, well, let's see if we can find GUID without T. Okay, that's not it. Load savable objects into array. Okay. Oh, this is friggin' lovely. Crap. This is a good reason to keep track of stuff. So I have a print string somewhere in my friggin' scene that is causing stuff to go off the screen, and I don't remember where I put it. And it makes no sense because all my print strings are inside of here. Oh, I guess we'll go through all of our items then. This is where I'm at. I'm in the object manager. Let's see. Is it in the coin itself? There we go. It's in the coin itself. Son of a gun. There we go. I knew it was in here somewhere. Okay. Let's try this again, shall we? Let's make sure this is on the screen long enough. Okay. So there's our issue. We never actually do this. At no point are we ever... That's because all of, yeah, see, found existing match. It should go here. This should go here. Is this one ever getting called? Okay, it gets called. Current loop counter is 1. We have 500,000. Resume. 2. 3. 4. Okay, am I incrementing the loop counter in the wrong spot? I must be. Hello, Teak. I've managed to completely confuse myself at this point. Okay, well, let's try something like this. Let's do... There we go. That way we can break it on there instead of on here. So it won't stop, except for when I hit 100. There we go. So we're going to hit 100. Okay, let's... Okay. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So it is loading properly now. Over frames. But my iteration loop is way too small, which makes no sense. Which, I also don't know why I just didn't pause it here. but we don't talk about why I do things wrong. Yeah, break out a main loop at 1,000, right? Yeah. Okay. But the 1,000 is wrong because this feels wrong. I can't do anything on the screen, and there's no way this is only 1,000 loops. It shouldn't take this long with 1,000 loops. I'm basically losing control of the game while it is loading. So let's put my this one back to 0, so we don't have a 1/10 of a millisecond delay. Let's see what happens if we do that. Huh. It's acting like it's loading. Oh, I hope everyone's as annoyed with this as I am. Because I will say that this makes no sense. Okay, so I'm gonna have to... Shoot. Let's put it back to 100. Yeah, my breaking out main loop is not occurring anymore. It occurs once. So is everything actually loading this time? Well, I managed to break everything. Okay, let's undo this code here. This goes back to our code that should not work. No, I have that set too long, right? Okay, so there's our code loading up like it should, and grab some stuff. Oops, we go through. There's our debug code. Go back through. 1,026 items load up. Yeah, everything's saving like it's supposed to, because we get those 3 items, we go through the green door, green map loads, we go back through the blue door, 1,026 items load up and inventories, and those items are gone again, like they're supposed to be. So the process is working properly now, which is what we expected. We collect everything we can here. Go through the pink door this time. Go through the back to the blue. Takes a little while to load, but everything should be gone like it's supposed to be. Okay, so saving and loading is working properly. I forgot I changed this back up to an insane number of loops. Okay. So 1,000,000 is where it breaks at. Yeah, so it fails. It's failing exactly like it should. Our iterator making this thing stop properly is not working. Was this one plugged into the wrong? No, it should have been plugged in there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, see? So we're failing. See that? Oh, see, that is the weirdest thing. See, that one worked fine. That one actually managed to split it. Nope, nope, see, because it failed. Okay, see, it's failing to get rid of everything. It's only going through part of it. Okay, so after 1,000, let's do this. Let's do this. Now we get a walkthrough and debug. I like debugging. I'm glad you're liking the thought process. This As frustrated as I'm getting, this is actually the part I like the most. It's just on this project because I let it get out of hand basically, and I don't want to spend the time refactoring it. I actually want to see how bad this can get just to show as an example when I do the video for it of what you can run into. I'm trying to run into all the problems. So rather than fixing it properly, I'm trying to fix it organically. And it's driving me effing crazy. Yeah, 1026. So this is actually the number of items that we're going through, which makes no sense because, oh no, technically that does. Anyways, found match. We go back to here. We'll step into it. Step into it, step into it, step into it. It calls a break like we expected. Okay. We go into here. Our last index we did was 612. So we've only gone through 600 of the items inside of our scene at this point in time. And that is not equal to 1026. So that is good. So it should not be equal. So we should step over 1. And I wish I had a step over, not a step into. This is now... whoa. Huh. Well, that would definitely be why there's an issue there. Ah. Okay, so increment was the horrible way to do this. We need to take the index, and we need to add 1 to the index. And then we need to set the iterator to the incremented index. There we go. Now, let's see what happens. That should fail the first time, exactly like we expected. No step over is really annoying. No step over. Okay, so now we should be taking our index, which is 612. We should now have 613 as our new iterator, which is what we expected. Okay. Didn't work properly, but we're getting somewhere, which is what counts. Okay, now we'll break and see why this isn't working. We'll resume. It should fail. We'll resume. It never gets called again. Load savable objects into array. That is what I called this one, right? Load savable objects into array. It's got to be because of the stupid 0. Getting something to work 1 frame later, I've never been able to get work properly. It's supposed to work properly like this, but I've honestly never gotten it to work properly like that. So let's do this a 0.1 and try that again. There's the first time through, and there's our second time through. Okay, let's get it to go over there. Our current iterator is 185. We have 1026. Our current index is 0, which is where we expect it to be. And here's our next time through. Okay, so let's resume. Oh, look at that. And it crashed. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Okay, so that's good. That is where we're going to. So now we have another infinite loop on here. So I have a feeling this. I wonder if the loop... No, the loop counter should be reset. You know what? Let's do something extremely stupid here and do half a second between each time it calls this. At some point, we should actually see stuff disappear if we're hitting the right items. Which we're not. Okay. I have a feeling this code needs to be reiterated over, but I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about this code right here. Okay, so we should be at 184, 612. Whoa. I'm only getting one loop. Okay, I'm wondering if we have bad data at this point, and it would be smarter to start over, which is what our lovely delete code is for right here. Go and run it so it deletes the code. Stop. Back up. There we go. So we have a bunch of items. Grab 3, exit, save. 1026 were saved successfully. Go back, and it fails. It fails back right here. So let's try loading it back up, and it's going to fail right here. So this item is looping too many times, which makes no sense. So we'll go through here. Let's see. So this one should be matching our ID, which is our GUID. This is pickup 60. Yeah, see, so it's running through like it's supposed to be doing. What's our current loop counter at? 16, 17. Break, fails, found existing matches. Our current count is 28. So this is going through fine. We are finding our matches properly. Exactly like I expect us to be. Let's go with this right here. Okay. So what number are we failing? This is this. See, yeah, this. Never mind. This one's not going to get triggered unless I add something. So I'm not worried about that one. And this is, see. Okay, maybe someone can explain this one to me because I'm freaking confused. I'm just honestly confused at this point. If my settings are set to 1 million iterations, so I've got a million for my iteration before the script goes away for a loop iteration. And you know what? I wonder if I wonder if there's so many. I wonder if all the if loops and the for each loops and all of those have count towards that, even though I'm only looping one time. Here, you should be able to. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, but I can put a break on there. Where are we at now? We're at 172. So at this point in time, it is taking 100 iterations. Is it getting stuck? Here, where's our... Let's unbreak this and watch this thing. Because, oops. Okay, so here's our code flow right here. Oh, wow, okay. Whoa, why is this continually being called? This should break out and not get called again. Okay. Okay, so we are doing something extremely stupid somewhere in here. This thing's going through. It gets to here. This one goes through. It finds a match. It's adding it to our array, the proper object. It interacts with it and tells it if it should get gone. It sets an existing match, and it goes over to break. The break goes over to here, finds an existing match. Our count is greater than 100, so it splits up over here. Let's see, this is our current loop counter, okay. Goes down to here. This should call a break, which calls completed. Completed goes down to here. This one, let's see, should be false every time, right? Because we haven't finished, so it's going to go ahead and upgrade our iterator each time. And then call load savable objects into memory in half a second. Yeah, we are doing something extremely stupid here. So the question is, what are we doing that's extremely stupid? Okay, let's not call any breaks. Let's see what happens if we don't break. Let's see how bad this ends up. Yeah, I should fail like I expected. But we're trying to break out of this one. We want this one to stop. And then it should end here. And then this literally stops. Okay. But half a second later, okay, what if we did something extremely stupid and did 10 seconds for the next one? I'll get rid of the, okay, so all I'm seeing is the fact it was half a second and it was instantly occurring. So it was a placebo effect. There we go. Okay, so this has got to be right here. Okay, so where is our, here we go. So all this is done is added in one. We have our GUID, we have the item itself, the object, and then we have whether or not it was interacted with, which is false because we haven't interacted with it. So that structure is proper. But why did it take 1027 loops to go through? Because we haven't broken. So that's proper, actually. We resume. It should wait. Did I do 10 seconds? I did 10 seconds. That's not going to be efficient for debugging purposes. Efficient for testing purposes, not debugging. So we should have 1027 loops. Perfect. That's exactly what we expected. We should have another 1027 loops, and we should have 2 items inside of here because it found it. Okay, so that worked perfect. Resume. 1 second later, we should have 1027 loops, and we should have 3 items. Okay, so that's perfect. This was set once we found the match to break out of here to make our iteration time quicker. No longer looping 1,000 times, we'll loop less. Only took 700 that time. We resume. 720 that time. 718 that time. 719 times. Okay, so it took that many times in order for it. Okay, so that's fine. That's exactly what we wanted. So if we did this to 1,000, we should have 2 items, whoops, inside of our array after we have successfully ran 1,000 times. It should be, okay, 1027. Did it take that many times, or? Yeah, look, 1027 times, and we managed to find, I'd have to do the count, I guess, but we found a bunch of items. We resume. It should be 1026 times, and we found a bunch more, and then we resume. It should be 1,008 that time. Okay, so it's roughly every 1,000 times it is finding another group of items and going through. And then it should go to here, and this should be the exact number of iterations through 612. This took 1,009 times. We've iterated through, how many we got this time? 600. Is it really 613? That's it? So these last ones are taking significantly longer. I don't need this one anymore. To find is the issue. 615, 616. Okay. So it's taking roughly one loop every time. So if I did 5,000 here and we played, it's going to fail. Really? 5,000 is too much? 2,000 is too much? But 1,000 was fine. How's 1,000 iterations through here not good? 177, 184, 655. See, it found a bunch of matches that time. 656, 657, 58, 9, 60. Oh, so it's got a problem at this point. Around 600 on this one, 177, 184. Yeah, 655. So find a bunch that time. So 0.01. Let's undo that one. Let's play. And it finished loading. Okay, let's get rid of all the items on this first part. Go through the green. Let's grab 3 items while we're here. Why not? Go through the blue. And yep, now we're getting our loop. Once we actually have enough items where it has to load it back up. Which is our current loop counter right here. Which means it has to go through too many items if our iterator is 1,000. That is extremely weird. Let's try 500 to see what happens. It's still gonna, is it still gonna fail? At some point when there's too many? Or is 500 an acceptable number? We can, the cool thing is you can see the blueprint in the background. As it's basically running through, and it finished. Okay. So it did not fail at 500. So let's grab the rest of these ones. I know the right answer is to up the number of iterator counts, but then we don't learn why things are breaking improperly. Go through here. R3's gone. So yeah, see, our small maps are fine. There's like negligible amounts. I just want to see what happens when we do a stupid number of items. And there we go. Now our main loop should be broken. These items should disappear if this is working properly. Which they didn't. Which means it's not properly looping through. Oh, no, there we go. Ooh, did you see the delay? Oh, because I'm not in the proper scriptable object for debugging purposes. Because I changed to a different map. Yep, okay. So, let's go back through the blue. Let's switch over to our current savable object. There we go. And it's still loading. We can see in the background. I think we got this. And as it gets to those items, it deletes them because they should not be there. And then our save finishes loading. Perfect. All right. So let's get this down to back to 2 seconds. So it's less on the screen. This is obviously not proper because my guess is this branch inside here and this inside of here. Yeah, because see, that's what's going on because this is looping inside of here. I have a feeling that is increasing the number of loops. Is what? Oh, that's me closing the wrong window. But the point was to do this with the default settings. Now, the next thing to figure out, why is this with 0.0, which should be next frame, not running properly? Yep, that does not. So set timer by function name. Let's do timer. Oh, no. Oh, that's right. It's the delay with 0. Delays it to the next frame. Can we cheat? Can we cheat? Can we introduce a custom event? Yes, what is let's see, load. Let's see, load the savable objects into the array. Yay for Objective-C naming. And it's simply going to do this right here. Just, oops, did not mean to disconnect that. Disconnect that. Do that. There we go. So that way, ooh, I did not capitalize the T. There we go. So this has run fine. This code, what we want to do is, how cheaty can we do this? Have it delay. Okay, so there we go. We can do this. We'll have it delay after it executes. And then we will have it, so we will take this code here and we will move it out into the event graph like this. And don't need to do a set timer. We will just call ourselves like this. Whoops, that would be me copying the wrong thing. So that was what? Load the savable objects. Load the savable objects into array. Okay. Okay. And this is the local current index. Oh, so I'm going to need to pull this out, which is awesome. That's what's great about functions. We'll just do an output. That's just the one I'm in right now, right? Load savable objects into the array. Yep. Output will be the current iterator, or next iterator is probably smart. Next iterator. There we go. And you know what? And we'll do current iterator. Aha! We will start doing some recursion here. Like that. And that should not be a Boolean. That's not going to help. Bam. We'll do that right there. Okay. So that is going to be that. And then our return node, which is what we want. Whoops. Stop it. We need a return node here, and we need a return node. Do I need to break? Can I just return? Would this be smarter? Should I just return out of here while I'm in the middle? Yeah. Ooh, I bet you that would work. We just return here. Okay. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. This one should never be an issue. This false should never get printed now. Print string. Oops. Oops. I can't see the words. Oops. We broke something in the load savable objects. Okay. So what we care about is getting our code out of here, and we're going to get the current index, add one to it, and that's going to be our output. Right here. Bam. What do you mean don't exist? You're right here. There we go. So now when we return, we should be returning back the next iterator, which is what we want. So we don't need that, and we don't need that. And we want, oops. There we go. Okay, so we're getting somewhere for sure. And where did my input go? Here we go. So my output, then no and then. What do you mean no and then? What? How are those no return? Oh, no return nodes. Okay, yeah. No return nodes. Duh. There we go. Yep. Understood. Yep. I need to make sure every path returns a node or it's going to be an issue. There we go. Okay, we are getting somewhere. This one is going to be iterator. This is like a loop on itself. That's awesome. There we go. It should have returned. Oh, why is that? Oh, of course. Refresh. There we go. There's my node proper. There's my delay. Then we'll recall this. Whoops. Where did that go? And then we're going to have a new one. We'll call this one should run again. Make this a Boolean. This is just going to be the super simplest way of doing this. If we should run again, then we're going to go and run again. Yeah, this is just super simple. There we go. Okay, so only if we should run again will we go and run again. We need to declare our output as running again. This one is a fail node, so let's not run it again. This one should not run again because we've successfully loaded everything. And our last one over here should run again because we still need to load stuff. Okay, let's see how much breaks this time. Woo, look at those loops. Come on, disappearing objects. Come on, disappearing objects. Oh, disappearing objects. Yeah. Oops, we broke something in the load savable object. Ah, so we do get here apparently. Why the hell would we? Okay, well, let's find out, shall we? I don't think we should ever get there, so that makes no sense. So let's run through here. Okay. So in our branch, once we have finished, once we've actually gone through, oops, I can't move that, all of our items. Our last index is 1026. Our current index is 0. That does not help. So our current index, how is this not getting set? First index, oh, because it never runs it because it comes through at 1027. Interesting. So when are we feeding this in? At some point we are feeding in this right here. When we get to the end. Okay. Once we've actually set our last one, okay, so let's go to here. Okay, and stop and resume. Okay, so this should be equal to, yeah, we're good there. 500, 501, whoops. Okay, so those are running again. We're currently at 502, which is our index here. Okay, so let's just prevent this from happening. There's a nice overflow issue. If we're greater than or equal to the number of our items, then we are good to go. And that's why you always use a less than or a greater than. So when shit overflows, you stop breaking stuff. All right. One last time. Let's see if I can move. Whoops. Oops. Eject. There we go. Well, apparently we broke something again. Yep, I'm going to say that's confusing. So let's print this out. Let's go to here. Put in our savable manager. Let's figure out where my screen's at. There. No, that's not it. What do I do with my screen? There we go. Okay. So it's loading properly. Obviously, we'd have a black screen or something, so the player doesn't see this game loading. Okay, so let's check out our indexes here now. Oh, yeah, duh. Our local current index is going to be 0 because we're coming in at 1,027. So this is, this is being stupid here, like completely stupid. So at this point, when we are ending our main loop, when we're completely done, yeah, this one I need to flag on. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? I need to make sure we're saving first. Chat was very... Oh, I have no music playing anymore. I didn't even notice that ended. No. Let me turn this one back on. This one was kind of cool. So chat was really quiet today. Hopefully it's just because... I don't know. Just... If anyone has any questions, just ask. As you can see, I'm just running through stuff basically for examples because I have no questions to answer. Yep, this is going to fail on our last iteration through. Because we are going through at 1027 on a return node here. No, we're telling... What the hell? Are we telling index 0? Okay, it's got to be because I'm... Nope, 728. Local current... Oh, local current index is 0 because I'm passing in that. Oh! Okay. Let's be smart here. What's happening is we're exceeding our count when we're on our last item. That's what's happening here. So, let's go back to my check that I was going to do here. If our current index is equal to... There we go. If we have ended, basically. Are we at the end of our go-through? Have we finished? Is our local current index equal to the last index inside of our... that increments every time, right? Yep. Inside. So have we finished? If we have finished, then we are going to return and we are done. If we have not, then we are going to return, run it again with the next incrementer. Like that. Okay. Now let's see what happens. Oh boy. Hello, Stets. Glad you could watch the fun, if that's what you're watching right now. There we go. Okay, we got no error that time. I don't know why it didn't stop here like I told it. So we have... So we kind of have a problem. So it's doing what it's supposed to, but it's not actually saving things out like it's supposed to. This branch never fires. So technically this branch is not needed anymore. We never complete the main loop. We never complete it here. we actually complete our main loop here after each individual node. So what we want here is, bam, copy paste. And that's like nowhere near enough room. Clear out the old one. And right there, why is that incrementing? That should not be incrementing the index. Okay. Why would that be incrementing the index? Oh, because I just copy pasted because I was being lazy. Well, that would be why. Okay, there we go. Whoops, not F9 there, F9 here. There we go. Now, I think we're good. I think we're gonna, no matter how many items we drop in here, everything should load and save properly by doing one frame per grouping. And now it should actually save to the file, which was what I was having a problem with. There we go. We're going to go ahead and save from this little savable objects everything inside of this map. Now we should be able to go into our green. It should save everything out properly, so we're good there. Green is still loading properly. Go back into blue. Now instead of waiting, it should load over time like we wanted. There we go. It's going to take more time to clean up this code than anything. Okay. There we go. And it cleared it out like we expected. Didn't I I must have undid that in another one. Okay. Resume. Yep. Okay. There we go. Now let's see if we can grab... There we go. We grabbed a coin there. Let's see if we can grab any other coins without falling off. Oh, we got another one over there. Let's see if we get that one. Yep. Okay, it looks like we got some of the ones on the edges. Okay, can we get this one? No. Can we get it without falling off? There we go. Okay. So we grabbed all the ones on the edges. We'll go into the pink this time. Should save it out. We should grab everything but the ones in the middle. Go into green. Green should have everything gone. Go into blue. Blue should iterate over time. These ones disappear immediately because they're like the first ones it loads in. There's 1,000 items sitting over here. I just kind of have them all stacked. I should probably like vertically move them up. Look at that. Those are moving. And every one I could reach is gone. So it's saving and loading properly, even if there's 1,000 items. So let's go ahead and do something extremely stupid. Because this is the next thing I need to figure out. So we have 1,000 items over here. Let's go ahead and just grab those ones. Copy, paste. Watch my computer crash by pasting another 1,000. Let's move these ones. Let's not move them over. Whoop. Let's move them up physically. Oh, I think that's a bit too far up. Let's try moving one down. There we go. Go back to perspective. There we go. Now we have another 1,000 coins in here. Now, if I coded this properly, it should load up the 1,000. Where's my object manager? Get me out of here. There we go. It should load up the 1,000, but then this one should fire off for the last 1,000 because it needs to add them to the database. But I think I may have broken that when I refactored the code is the issue. Okay, let's go back to our thing and see what's going on here. Well, it's still loading. It loaded up all those other ones. So it's still loading. It's not broken yet. So where are we at in terms of loops? Okay, so that counter's going through. Where are we looking at? We're looking at our current index, right? Which is of course not in scope. Oh, it stopped. Which is a good thing in theory. Except a bunch of items are missing, aren't they? Did it delete too many oh, shoot. Okay, so I know exactly what happened. Oh, crap. So, oh, crap. My construction script for my coin fires, and it's only going to change the GUID if it's not valid. And I basically copy-pasted 1,000 items and duplicated the GUID. That's why it nuked them. So, let's go ahead and unhook that for now. So it'll generate a new GUID every single time I move it. Oh, this is gonna be fun. But the point is to break stuff, right? See how bad we can make this? Let's grab these items, undo this. We'll go ahead and move these over. Oops, and left, and we'll go ahead and move them. I guess that'll work, but these should all have brand new GIDs now. We'll go back into here. We'll go ahead and make sure. Oh no, I forgot to uncheck this. Okay, I still haven't selected though, so we're still good. Let's force a GUID recompile. And this is going to take a while. I'm curious if it's going to eat my thing. Wow, I've dropped 3.5% of my frames so far. Probably when the CPU gets all funky. Was not intended. It's basically right now, in case anyone's curious why nothing's happening, it is creating GUIDs for about 3,000 items, which is not the most elegant thing in the world. And then right now it's going to create GUIDs for another 1,400. Okay. And then let's try that. And it's going to re-save and check all the GUIDs. In case anyone was wondering, like I've mentioned a couple times if you're listening, this is intentionally not the right way to do it. This is a good example of why C++ is better than Blueprint in certain situations. I got about 4,000 items I'm generating GUIDs for in order to have unique IDs because I'm doing something extremely stupid like saving things in multiple arrays over multiple maps. Because I can. Okay. Whoa, that was kind of cool. Okay, so let's see what happens this time. I have a feeling, yeah, okay. So, this is what I was worried about. When I broke my code, it regenerated GUIDs for everything. Not when I broke my code, when I moved items. Okay, so we need to go back to our savable object. We go back to our event graph. We need to go ahead and delete our save game since we have to start all over now. And now we have our save game. And by the way, this should be running at low frames. I wonder what frames per second we are getting. Look at that. I'm getting 20 frames per second because I have about 4,000 items rotating every frame. Which is not smart. And I'm not using instancing, so that's stupid. Okay, so let's try this again. We are going to very slowly grab a bunch of stuff from here. We're going to pretend we're playing Pac-Man and grabbing all the ghosts and power pellets. And I fell off. Son of a gun. It's only set to save when I teleport out, so that didn't work at all. Now also one thing I'm doing in terms of this being not very efficient is every single time I talk to every single time I pick up one of these, it is talking to the array, looping through the array, finding the proper item, and updating if it's been interacted with or not. Which is a stupid way of doing it. Oh crap, those are too high for me to catch. Wait, maybe? They're too high? Oh, I'd have to like do that for each one. Okay, well. No! Okay, almost Joe fell off. Yeah, that's a good enough chunk off. Let's go through the pink door. Should save out. Now that's the debug text for saving, so that's fine. Let's go back to our blue door. But we should have our smooth loading now at least, even though it screws my frames up. This time though, we are going through a bunch of actors. It's actually kind of cool. If you look on the far right, under World Outliner, you can see it going through and deleting actors as we are removing them from the screen. Here we go. Look at that. And our code is still running, it looks like. We have more actors being deleted. You can, of course, check the code out if I wasn't silly enough to... There we go, now we're done with the code. Okay. Looks like... Nope, still deleting. Oh, I don't have the right debug object selected. There we go. Yep, code's still running. If I had that in the background, we could have checked. Okay, so code's still running. We're still good there. So everything should be fine. So I'm going to break out. And what we're going to do is go back to our... actually, no. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop a few more in here and let them automatically generate their new user IDs. Here we go. Just to be smart. There we go. So... I wonder if I could pick these up with them being in the ground. So we have a bunch more items right there on the ground. So if I was to pick these up, can I pick them up? Nope. Okay, so I'm going to have to pull those out of the ground. Let's pull them up a little bit. There we go. Okay. So let's let this run. Keep in mind, I only... Yep, see, those ones are disappearing. Those ones are disappearing. We can see our actor count going down. Everything in front of us should be going down. I want to make sure these get deleted before I do anything. Just to double check. So what I'm checking now is making sure that when I add items after we've already created a valid save game and an array of objects that we've messed with, it knows to go back in and add those items to our... here we go. These ones are what I'm hoping to run. It'll add it back to our array of objects. That way our array is going to be valid on level load every single time. Even if the designer went back in and added in new... they added a new treasure chest. So we need to make sure we're tracking that properly and saving it next time we run a save state. So this is kind of silly, but we can see the code run, and if it did it right, I should see these branches fire at some point in time when it gets to the end of this array and adds in our new items. Which I wonder what count it's at right now. I don't know. Maybe it's over here I can see my count. Let's see. Can we see our output count? Nope, we can't see our index because we are not over here. I'd have to... oh, I can pause. And we are currently at 1930 out of 2056. So we are getting there. So let's see if this one fires off. Of course, as I try to answer emails while that's running. Okay, come on. You can do it. You know, I could have just done that and gone back into here. And then realized it paused right when I did that. Oh no. So I'm still kind of got the game paused. That kind of didn't help it continue looping. There we go. It's gonna pull in and add our extra variables. That's what I was hoping. Okay, so these new ones should now be added to our array. So if I was to pick these up, let's leave one of them. There we go. We should be able to go into a door. It should save out with our new amount, which looks like it's 2,056 of them. Go back into our blue. Now it should iterate through 2,056 of them over time. And this group should disappear, which is what we're hoping. So let's see what happens here. Top view of a miniature train set. Man, I wonder. The more of these I add, the less frames I get. Look at that. Look at like 10 frames per second. You know, it would have been smart when I did this broke out of main loop debug text. Ah, look, I saw one of them disappear. When I did this broke out of main loop, if I printed the iterator I was on, so I knew how far along I was. Out of, you know, X of X, because I know I'm on out of 2,056. That would have been something smart to do earlier just to see what was going on. Of course, you always think of these things once, you know, stuff's not working. Whoa. Still looping. Oh, my blueprint? Oh, yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. Like when I'm in here and it's running like that. It did kind of look like that, especially with like, oh. So I saw someone doing art in blueprints. I wonder if you could do some sort of a contest or a theme or something where basically you have to elegantly lay out your blueprint, your working blueprint code, but it has to be elegantly laid out using the minimal amount of reroute nodes to make some sort of art. Okay, but yeah, look, it's all gone and we have one left. So that was 2 hours of hell and torture. However, I've got, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me, where's my, here we go. Let me disconnect my coin rotation event. And let's see if we can get some more frames back. There we go. And look at that loop running over there on the left. Since our frames aren't taking 60 milliseconds now, our frames are taking like 12 and 13. Look how fast it's iterating through our 2,000 items. Actually, you know what? I was doing, which one I was doing? This one, right? So, broke out of main loop. Here we go. Let's see. We append string, append. And this is going to look uglier than heck, but I don't care. Because this is for debugging purposes. This will get gone in a second. We're going to take loop. And then our first loop is going to be our current index. And then our last one is going to be our last index. There we go. There we go. Now we can actually see the number of loops as we're running through. Oh yes, hindsight is 50-50, 1,000 billion, some number my kids make up in terms of how important it is. But look, we can actually see it looping through every single frame. You can see how many times it's going through, we can see the speed, and we can see when we're about to finish. There we go. And of course, because I was running at 13 frames. Okay, and then if we were to go back in and start spinning our coins again. Actually, you know what? I want to spin them once and see what the impact is on frames per second. There we go. So spinning them once, and look at that, right when they stop spinning, because I'm not using instant static meshes, because I'm adjusting 2100 transforms at a time per frame. Oh, that's fantastic. Cool. Cool. Okay, so let's turn that back on the rotate and let's see how much it affects it. I want to do one last thing and then I'm going to call this done because this is for personal purposes. So when we call the, what is it? We're calling the load the save objects for the first time. So we're going to print string. Actually, you don't want to print string. What we're going to want to do is I just want to keep track of the time. I could do a start time, subtract it, and print it out. Or, nah, screw it. I'll just do a start time. Let me start time. And this is going to be... Oh, I don't remember how to do time. Let's find out. Get current time. Oh, no, that's not. Oh, what is it? Date time. I hate subtracting. I hate subtracting. I hate subtracting. Okay. This is going to be a date time structure, right? Yeah. I'm assuming I can subtract date time, but I don't know if blueprints allow that, so that's actually kind of funny. So loading start time. When we have finished, which is right here, right? Yep. Let's see. We're gonna get this one, and can we subtract? Because you can in normal ones. Date time minus date time. There we go. Now, oops, and then print string. And can I? Do we have a time to string node? We do not. So this should be a struct, right? Yep. Oh. Well, let's see what happens if we do that, because why not? Curious to see how long this takes when it's spinning. Okay, so we're gonna let that go. I'm basically gonna run 2 tests with time, see if this works, wrap this up for the day. I appreciate everyone who was watching. I hope you saw that it's anything you may encounter in your day-to-day work with the engine or any other programming, it's the same thing every programmer experiences. It's all frustration till you realize how stupid it was. Yesterday, for example, I did the video and everything worked good. Then I spent about an hour cleaning it up and it worked good. Then I tried loading up the other 2 maps, which was the whole point of this, and it failed miserably. About 3 hours later, it finally dawned on me that I was saving references to objects and loading references to objects. Not a problem. However, if you tried to load a reference to an object that doesn't exist, well then it's not going to give you a reference to an object. It's going to give you back none, which makes complete sense when I'm thinking about it now. But after 3 hours of trying to figure out why I kept getting none and couldn't load my objects once I came back from another level, I finally realized, duh, I'm trying to load up objects that don't exist. So, yeah. And that was negative 22 right there. That seemed really weird. Did I do my, let's see, start time? Oh, yeah, now minus start time would have been smarter. So it looks like that was 22 seconds with rotating coins. And if we unhook the rotating coins, we get back probably something significantly faster. I would assume faster. I wonder what the difference is. 19 seconds. Whoa, really? Oh, I bet you it was a minute and 22 seconds. You want to bet it was a minute and 22 seconds? As the result, hold on, let me see if we can recombine this. What can we pull out for our date time? Let's see, time span, here we go, get total seconds. That's what we wanted. I knew it was in there somewhere. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? This one should still probably be 19 seconds. So there we go, 22.88 seconds. Hook up our rotator again. And run this. I was thinking about that. I could have penned the minutes and all that stuff, but I knew there was a note in there, a variable type, the time span, that would work. And I just had to remember. There's so many things in there. Oh, tell me about it. The fact that my loop iterations are set to 100 to 1 million. Loop iteration 1 million. But I'm looping 500 times and it still tells me it's too many loops. Completely, honestly baffles me. And I know it's because of the way loops are set up inside of blueprints and that a loop is technically more than one iteration, but common sense thinks to yourself, hey, I should be able to loop 50,000 times if my limit's 1 million, and you can't loop more than 500 times. Okay, well, I was not paying attention, so I'm assuming that was a minute, because that was... Oh, wait, I log. Aha, I should have it in the log, right? There we go. Oh, 82 seconds. Yeah, okay. So it took a full minute longer to iterate over the 2,056 items because I had stuff going. Yeah, because compared to the other one, it was... apparently somewhere else that I've scrolled past. Wow, so many scrolls. Seriously? Okay, stop that one. I wish there was line numbers in here. That would make things so much simpler. 22 seconds, there we go. No, that's negative 22. Seriously? Okay, that's the next one. If someone's going to do a pull request, there we go. 22 seconds compared to 82 seconds. So a full minute longer to do it. Okay, so anyways, that was just for me to figure that one out. This is me working towards save variables between maps. And then I also have an advanced save here and here for save slots and advanced saving. That's what I'm working towards now. I'm also going to do another concept on what can go wrong and why you might want to use C++ over BP. But that is pretty much it. That's going to wrap up today's stream. I know it looks like not much got done, but figured out how to implement a way of aggregating loops and data stuff. Doing things. How about that? Doing things over multiple frames rather than over one frame itself. That was what I accomplished today. Of course, I managed to make this monstrosity, which I will be working on fixing. But that's part of cleanup. Other than that, it is Friday. Hopefully everyone is doing something fun like watching BlizzCon or Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. And I am, well, it's wrapping up right now, Ethan, so it's not really a big deal. I will have another stream on Monday. I will be recording on Sunday for videos as normal use. If anyone is curious, we have well, I'm still trying to fix my stupid live stream from the first, which looks like the final copy may have actually fixed, because this one was blocked, but it looks like this one may not be copyrighted. I mean, may not be blocked completely. Anyways, what I was trying to do is I have another settings video for tomorrow, and then after that I have some HTFs for like drag and drop basics and a storyteller object coming up, and next week should be a bunch of concept videos, some finish ups of the settings videos, and then I can move on to doing some more utility and concept videos for like a week. So it should be a fun couple weeks, and then if anyone pops up in stream and asks questions and stuff, I might be able to do more fun stuff than the extremely boring transformation notes. So toss out suggestions. I will see anyone who wants to watch on Monday as I start streaming again on Monday. Have a good time of the day.